Okay, let's see what happens here. All right, we're going to do a test stream with a different computer today and see if it works. And also, I'm trying to hide my face because nobody needs to see this scary monster of a face. So I don't even know what's going to show up on the computer. My monstrous face or a calming video. Let's see. So far, I have no negative reports of anything bad, so that's good. I'll put this right here by my face and see if it works. If anybody tunes in, please let me know if you can hear me. All right, let me see. It says I'm live right now, and 2 people are watching. Hey, Tank, how's it going? I got it to work. This is just a test. Just a test. Might read something. Try to do this for a little bit. I'm barely awake. I'm still drinking coffee. How you feeling this morning? Need to go to this and then turn down the volume. Awesome. I can't believe this. This is fantastic. I'm so excited that it's going to work. Okay, now I see it. So I got a new computer for Christmas, but I didn't want to use it for this, for anything like this. I didn't want to put like extra stuff on this computer. It's nicer, but it's smaller. And I didn't want to mess with it. Plus, it took me a month to get this out of the box because I was afraid I was going to break it. Oh my goodness. Uh-huh. What time does your day start for you, Tank? Hey. Oh yeah. So it could be a combination of my internet, but mainly it probably was the other laptop. So I wanted to do a test now so that I could let you guys know, like, if I could do this, then I could actually say, hey, let's live stream on this day. And then it actually happened because it's not constantly buffering. Sweet. I'll even read something if you guys want to, but please be warned. I have had approximately 3 sips of coffee. I don't know how long anybody else takes. Usually I get up. This is how I do every morning. I get up, put my glasses on, put my vitamins in my mouth. It's just a habit I have now and then I make my bed like every day. Then I go start coffee because that's how I do every morning. Sometimes it's earlier than later, but I had a hard time waking up this morning. It was so nice yesterday. Spent most of the day like trying to be outside. I don't know, it just helped me sleep so good. I'm so excited that God forbid if it snows again, I might spiral into insanity. My voice is gonna sound extra deep probably because I'm still waking up. Or maybe not, I don't know. The randomness. Indeed. I don't even have to plug in my iPad if I want to read stories. I could just go right to. I will say this, like we don't have iPhones because quite frankly, they're expensive. And we have Metro PCS, which is a very controlled, budgeted phone bill. Would I like to have an iPhone? Sure. Do I want the crazy, unpredictable phone bill that comes with the best service that comes with an iPhone? No. Um, but using this Apple computer and the iPad, I got the iPad for art stuff. I don't know. I really like to draw, and I got Procreate on here, so. Um, but it's so much easier to do things with Apple products. They're faster, and I've heard that they're less like apt to get viruses or things you don't want on your computer onto them. Yeah, basically, Metro's got a life expectancy of what, a year before they're just crap. However, You get what you pay for, but also there's no surprises. And I'm a dropper, if you don't know. Slightly accident prone, trying to speak into existence that I used to be accident prone. So I drop everything. For a long time, we didn't have any glasses in our house because I was afraid I was going to break them all. Hey, Peter, how you feeling? Yeah, like they're so fragile. I don't know about you, but especially if I walk my dog, there's plenty of times when unexpectedly my phone flies out of my hand, and I've broken it, and I've had like the bounce proof case on my phone, but I've still seen iPhones where they have the super like durable case on them, and they still shatter, and they're expensive, and I just cannot bring myself to. I just can't. Although it would be amazing because I'm one of those things. When my iPad's near me, I'll say, "Hey Siri, set a reminder for," or "Hey Siri, set a timer for," and it just does it. It's great. My phones last me a few years. Yeah, I did learn though.
All right. I've added it to reminders.
See, Siri, I didn't even ask her anything, but she just heard me say that. She added it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Um. Uh, do you feel better, Peter? Worse or the same? Yeah, you did mention that you had, like, I don't want to say it because I know that you put it as a public comment, but you said that you did get COVID. Hey, to pay for our crappy phones. Yes, yes, you are. Good morning, darling. You're in a good mood, I see. I'd still rather have our crappy phones than an insane, no, expensive phone that breaks and then you have to figure out how to. All phones are crap. Yeah, it's crazy. Like you'd think if you make a phone that's $1,000, it should be indestructible. It should be waterproof, shatterproof. Until they're that, I'm not messing with it. I don't want to touch them because I know exactly what's going to happen if I get one. And then the stress, no, no, thank you. That's good. That's good. The nicer it is outside, the nicer I feel. I know that. But last summer was hard afterwards. So hopefully it's early enough in the year where you're at before the heat hits. Because when you're getting, I don't know if you've had difficulty breathing or not, but um, if that was part of yours at all, part of your symptoms at all, when it gets really humid in Michigan, so that doesn't help either. Humidity already makes it kind of hard to breathe if you're healthy, but if you're getting over something like COVID and you had one of the symptoms of difficulty breathing, it makes it really not great. Do you guys want me to read something since we're on here? I was just gonna test it out to see. Been sneezing from the season change. Yeah, me too. To the point where like I wonder if anybody's like gotten into an accident when a sneezing attack comes on. Do you think that happens? I have some urban legends here that aren't like from an individual state, but then I don't want to read those and then like take away from. Yeah. I wonder what it's like to live in a state that doesn't have humidity. What is that like? Isn't that why people end up moving to Arizona for like breathing issues and arthritis? Just for the simple fact that it eliminates that kind of. That's what I've heard anyway. That's what I heard. I've got 10 seances gone wrong here. I don't know if it's any good. When I find an article, I just email it to myself so I don't forget about it now. You can see it if you want. Let's see. It's from, oh geez, an ad came up. They used to be pretty good about not getting ads on the iPad. This says, doesn't let me read it. Dry heat, yeah. I can just read this if you guys want to listen to it. A seance gone wrong inspired the Conjuring movie. I don't know if I've read these before, but I don't think so. So if you've seen The Conjuring, you have an idea what happened to Andrea Perron. That was the mom of all of them. Did you see The Conjuring? It was really scary, but I guess you know how most people say when they make a movie inspired by true events that they always like hype it up and stuff. And the Perron family said that their experience was much scarier than what the movie portrayed because there's no way you can really portray what happened to them because it was so scary. But anyways, this says right here that the movie didn't tell the whole story. I think that probably could have been a multiple part movie, if not a series, but it traumatized them so much that I watched Kindred Spirits, and they went to the Perron house or the Conjuring house because it was up for sale, and the current owners weren't experiencing anything, but they had an opportunity to go in there, and they invited the kids that used to live there that are now like in their like they're senior citizens or real close, and they were friggin' terrified to go in there. Like they had to leave. One of them did leave. The other ones went outside. But anyways, it says in 1971, Perron and her family. Sorry, I have that right up against my shirt. In 1971, Perron and her family moved into a house in Harrisville. Okay, we don't need to read that part. They discovered that the house was filled with spirits that didn't pass on yet due to continuous unexplained phenomenon. Scared for their lives, the Perron family called upon paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, of course. They promised to try to help the family get the spirits out. When a medium performed a seance, it went dreadfully wrong. She summoned a spirit that went after Perron's mother, Carolyn. So this medium is responsible basically for the torment and terror that this entire family went through. Let's see. It threw the mother around with such force that she sustained a concussion. Perron said it was the most terrifying night of her life, and after the seance, the family no longer experienced severe supernatural events. Andrea Perron has written 3 books about the hauntings experienced by her family in the home, which I think I would love to read. Let's see. This says Britain's last witch revealed a military secret. So this says in 1941, psychic Helen Duncan was approached by a mother looking for news of her son, a soldier in the British Royal Navy. Duncan held a seance to conjure up any spirits with the news of the man. She revealed that the young man had been lost in the sinking of the battleship HMS Barham or Barham. Remarkably, the ship's sinking hadn't been revealed to the public to prevent a loss of morale in the difficult days of World War II. Among the people at the seance were 2 lieutenants of the Navy. They were immediately suspicious of Duncan, prompting 2 undercover police officers to attend another seance. The officers promptly detained her, and Duncan was tried under Section 4 of, get this, the Witchcraft Act of 1735, which forbade deceitful spiritual activity. What? She was the last person to be tried for witchcraft before the Act's repeal in 1951. What? I have never heard of that. That's insane. Whoever's joining us, good morning. I see there's 5 people here. You don't have to interact, but just let me know it buffers for you at all because so far there's little bars in the lower left corner that show me if the stream's having problems. And so far it's just been green, so it's good to go. Let's see. This next one is about Zozo, and I do not like saying what's supposed to be bad spirits out loud because you're not supposed to. So just know I'm not saying that name again. Individual stories of spirit contact are creepy enough, but even more eerie are the number of people who claim to have contacted that specific entity. The spirit most known almost said that almost sounded Australian. I'm sorry, I'm not awake yet. The spirit is most known for having intimate knowledge of people's lives and for its ability to manipulate people and objects to cause harm. The entity's origins are murky, but people around the world claim to have interacted with it during seances while using spirit boards or while practicing auto writing. Sometimes the spirit's name is a mere trickster, while other times it reportedly possessed people and caused harm. The entity is a special interest to paranormal researcher Darren Evans, whose website and blog have become the hub for reports of this spirit's activity. Whatever the cause, if a spirit identifies itself as that name, it might be best to slide the planchette over to goodbye. I mean, just don't play with the Ouija board. We've went over this. Good morning, Paul. Just getting on here and doing a read since I re-downloaded this software to a different computer, and it seems to be working smoothly. So I'm not sure if it's because of the time of day or because this is a superior machine for sure. And if my husband's listening, thank you. It took me a month to get this thing out of the box because I was afraid I was going to break it. I was so afraid to touch it. This next one says a Ouija board experiment almost doomed an album release. Experimental rock group The Mars Volta almost can't. I've never heard of them. If you guys have, please let me know. Almost canceled an entire album due to supposedly cursed spirit board after guitarist Omar Rodriguez Lopez picked up a Ouija board in Jerusalem and the band used it. They started experiencing strange happenings, including tracks disappearing from the computer, 2 floods in the studio, equipment ruined, and a valued engineer quitting. True to form, the band channeled the strange events into their album, The Bedlam and Goliath, released in 2008. Rodriguez Lopez buried the board to avoid any future events, and the band released 2 more albums before breaking up in 2013. And that's what you're supposed to do with the board. You're supposed to bind it and bury it where no one else is going to dig it up. Don't burn them. Don't break them. A fake seance got unexpectedly real for magic shop employee. I mean, it's because you're selling these things like they're a toy. I'm all for like really cool things, but people that just dabble in things that they think are a game, I don't know. Just respect the spirit world, man. Anyway, I'm going to squirrel it out. Sorry, I'm drinking my coffee. A fake seance got unexpectedly real for a magic shop employee. I just realized that's too close and you can hear me swallow my coffee. Gross. Bradford J. Angers, a magic store employee and psychology student, got more than he bargained for when a customer paid him $100 to perform a fake seance complete with sounds and visuals. That sounds kind of funny and fun. If it's fake, that sounds hilarious. With the aid of a partner, Angers set out to create an entirely fabricated seance that appeared real. Angers pulled it off without a hitch. With disembodied voices, oh my gosh, with disembodied voices speaking predictions about the attendees' loved ones from a mist that formed in the center of the table. Once it was over, Angers went to help his partner disconnect the equipment they used to produce these special effects, only to find that his partner and the equipment had been locked outside the entire time. So whatever happened during the seance had nothing to do with their fake plans. What? I guess that's karma right there. What's coming to you? A Ouija board connected to users connected users to heaven and hell, supposedly. Some Ouija board experiments are fun ways to spend a harmless Saturday night. No, no, they're not. Don't do that. But others can be eerie. This Reddit user described an experience on an army base when dabbling with a Ouija board led her and a group of friends to contact a spirit named Cheryl. The spirit said she perished in a car accident and was searching for her boyfriend. After continuing to use the board, they managed to get in touch with the boyfriend, who said he was sorry and he loved her very much, but couldn't explain why he was sorry. The group contacted a third spirit who said that the reason the boyfriend was sorry was because he was in hell and the girlfriend was in heaven. At that moment, all of the candles in the room flickered out. Yeesh. Yikes. Let's see. This next one says holding a seance opened a door to demons. Growing up in a creepy, seemingly haunted room can force anybody to take drastic measures. Yeah, so why not bring a Ouija board into it? What could possibly go wrong? Anyways, for this unidentified man growing up in Michigan, he knew, oh, really? He knew his room had a bad vibe when he allowed two occult dabbling friends to hold a seance to find out the cause of his eerie visions and unexplained voices. Things went from bad to worse. The seance backfired, of course. His girlfriend started angrily shouting for the friends to leave, and after they left, the man found her trapped in the room, unable to move. Once he pushed a dresser out of the way to gain access, he tried to pick her up but found that she was heavier than normal. Once he got her out, they escaped to the home of his friends where she revealed that she felt like she had been possessed. The friends returned to his home to try and rid his room of the evil entity. They ended up contacting a demon named Enlil, who told them it had been using the bedroom as a gateway and the seance had enabled him to escape. Along with a host of other terrifying spirits, the friends managed to close the gateway and rid the room of spirits. From then on, the room seemed to be normal. That's what they want you to think. If you're just joining us, good morning. You don't have to speak in the chat. This is just a test that ended up being successful, so I'm just going to read some stories for a few minutes. Maybe, probably turn it off at about 9-ish, so just so you guys have a heads up. I was just testing out and see if it works, and it's working, so yay. This one says an eerie prediction turned a skeptic into a believer. Well, you can't trust everything a Ouija board tells you. This Reddit user discovered there might be more truth to a prediction than meets the eye. According to the post, the Redditor asked the spirits they connected with to make a prediction about a future news event, to which the spirit replied, did die, and then Princess die. When asked how this would happen, it responded car accident. When asked where this would happen, it gave the answer of Paris. When asked when, it replied, Ohio. The Redditor ended up going to Ohio, but nothing happened, so the spirit's message was dismissed as irrelevant. A month later, the Redditor went on another trip to Ohio, and during that trip, Princess Diana of Wales lost her life in a tragic car accident in Paris. That's not cool, man. Not that it's not his fault, but it's just, I mean, if the spirits can predict that, can you be like, hey, why don't you stop it? A late night spirit visitor thought, what'd you say, Tank? Oh, skeptic to believe. I believe not. The late night spirit visitor sought solace. Sometimes you don't realize you've experienced something inexplicable until after it's over. As this Reddit user found out, when dabbling with a Ouija board on New Year's Eve, a spirit identifying itself as Eugene, you get to choose any name in the afterworld. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anyone named Eugene. Rock that name if you have it. But if you get to choose any name, you would choose Eugene? Anyways, said it was afraid. It directed the poster and their brother to the radio, which was playing a song by the band Heart. The board began repeating the word heart, followed up with the cryptic statements like "don't go" and "church." It wasn't until the next morning that the encounter made sense. A distant great uncle named Eugene had suffered a heart attack overnight, and after passing on the hospital table several times, being revived, and then regaining consciousness, said he'd been terrified he'd end up in hell for not attending church in 20 years, just as the board had indicated. Ew. Yikes. Hello, Peter. Did you just come back? This one says a spirit's warning predicted a skeptic's mishap. Proving the existence of the supernatural to a skeptic is often futile, but that didn't dissuade. Where did the thing go? Well, the thing moved on me. This didn't dissuade Cindy Lawson's mother. This keeps moving on me. Ads are trying to pop up on the screen. From trying to make her friend Ricky a believer. Lawson's mother was part of a singing group, and the troupe wanted to prove to Ricky, a non-believer, that spirits were real. They held a seance and asked for a series of escalating signs, including slamming doors, strange smells, and knocking sounds. The night culminated with a visit from a spirit identified as Lorenzo di Medici, a famous patron of the arts in Renaissance Italy, who predicted the skeptical Ricky would soon suffer an accident during his act as a trick cyclist. Though Ricky laughed at the prediction, he did in fact suffer a significant mishap several weeks later, perhaps prompting him to reassess his skepticism about the supernatural realm. Dun dun dun. Whoa. Do you guys want me to read anything else? There's a few more minutes left. The origin of everyday clothing? That sounds boring. 11 times people disregarded orders and changed history. 14 surprising historical last effects. I don't know what that means. Oh, here's directions on how to directly speak to the dead. I don't think we're going to do that. Good morning, Quentin. We're just doing a test stream here, and it actually was successful, so I'm just reading some things while drinking some coffee. I'm going to end this at about 9 o'clock just because, yeah, this was just a test stream that ended up being successful. I'm very pleasantly surprised, so yay. Let's see. 12 effective means of summoning spectral forces with a Ouija board. I don't want to give anyone instructions on how to do this. All right, 15 signs you have a poltergeist in your house. 13 steps to rid your house of a pesky poltergeist. Seance rules. Ghosts and poltergeists aren't actually the same thing. Here's how to tell the difference. One thing I did want to figure out is how I can share the screen with this streaming software. I haven't figured that out yet. I've seen a few videos on it, but it still means I have to show my ugly mug on the screen, and I can't figure out how to do that. I don't want to do that. I've done a face reveal before, and for one thing, I have to wear my glasses so I can see the print, and all you can see when I put my face on there is the reflection of the light onto my glasses, so you can't even see my eyes anyways. Anyways, let's see here. $20 miles? 20 miles of this week's work? Did you mean minutes? No, miles seems like an intentional type, but you know what? I do text to speech all the time, and it always ends up picking up words that I didn't even remotely say, and then it types it out. So I always consider that maybe someone typed something they didn't mean to say, but I don't know. Let me see. I was going to go to a next article if you guys wanted me to do more. Let's see. Gross. Oh, well, my thing just, oh, it popped itself right back up to the. Usually, what I like about using my iPad to read stories is the fact that normally pop-ups don't really happen, but they've figured out a way. Oh, I got more Ouija board stories if you guys want to hear them. So hopefully you do. I have seen your face and I'm still alive. Yeah, lucky you. 20 miles. Oh, is it like a specific areas that you have to complete? Is that what it is? Like each day it's organized in a specific area? That makes more sense now. I don't know that if that's what you meant, but let's see. So these are creepy stories about Ouija boards. This probably isn't long, but this should wrap up our little test stream here, which seems to be going well, and I'm super happy because I know that some people do like the live streams better because I get distracted and it's entertaining to some people, but also you can interact with people a little easier during a live stream. It can happen in a video too when I do a premiere if you go in the chat box, but those videos aren't really long unless I make like a compilation. But I think at the end of each month, I think that I'll make a like a compilation video of that month or like in a quarterly one. So it'd be nice and long. And then people can chat in the chat box for an extra long time then. I don't think I should do it I don't know. You guys can let me know if I should do that like maybe quarterly or every month. Because sometimes it's just like, when it's, I don't know about you, but when it's nice outside, I don't want to sit in front of a computer. And it's not like, not to be like whiny, but it's like, I don't make money at this to sit in front of the computer when it's nice outside. Just so you know, like it makes it really like I don't want to do that. Even like I don't want to disappoint anybody, but I don't want to do that. Especially if we can go do something and it's nice outside, I want to do that. When I first started this channel a long time ago, I would just bury myself and dedicate myself to the point where like my husband would kind of get mad at me and be like, "You've been in there all day," because I was trying to figure it out and I was trying to get better at it. But like if this is your full-time job, I totally understand. But like my channel is still really small and I've been doing this for a really long time. In YouTube years, I've been doing this for a long time. And some people do like they make their living from this, but that's not the case here. So I really can't. If it's nice outside, I can't sit in front of the computer all day. 4 complexes, clean the grounds and buildings all the way 2 times a week. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. I make my Quentin, I make my coffee in a French press. I don't know if you really want to amp up your caffeine consumption in the morning, a French press is the way to do it, to tell you. Plus, it seems like the coffee is just a little stronger and better. I know that some people don't like coffee as strong as I do, but yeah, I really want to. Okay, back to the stories. I squirreled out there for a minute. 2 weeks of hauntings, this one says. This is from Redditor I am Ballsack Ama. These Redditor usernames are golden. Went out of their way to get haunted by something that came through their Ouija board, and after trying and failing to contact a spirit the first time, they cut the lights, lit some candles, and turned an old radio to play nothing but white noise while they tried to make contact with the other side. That's a pair of bad idea genes, if ever there was one. Okay, so at least the person that accumulated these stories adds some of their own writing, which is funny. When a spirit finally responded, the Redditor and their friends learned that it was the ZOZO one. I'm not saying that name. And from there, things went about as poorly as they could. We began to try and move the planchette in circles like you do when you're expecting an answer, and then all of a sudden, it stopped the hello spot of the board and wouldn't move. We actually slid the whole board off the table trying to get it to move. It was being pushed down hard. The planchette continually altered between hello and no. The radio emitted screeching sounds. A bunch of objects fell off the top of the refrigerator and the candles blew out. And a cat that lived at the house began walking with a limp the next day. weird activity continued in their home for the next 2 weeks. Oh, there was no wind. After reading this collection of spooky Ouija stories that happened to Redditor Kimmy Gibbler, say what? Oh my God. You're probably going to want to buy a ticket for the no thank you train just like us. The reader's most terrifying story comes from an evening when a spirit named Deb proved that it exists by explaining it knows where she and her friends smoke, possibly insinuating that it's watching them as they get their fix. Not freaked enough by this information to stay inside, the Redditor and her friend Haley pressed Deb to prove that she is real. I said, "How will we know you're real?" And she said, "Trees." And I'm like, "What?" Haley says we have to do it. So we're outside smoking. I look into the forest, sweating balls in fear, thinking I'm going to see a friggin' demon face in the branches or something. Eventually, we relax, but then Haley, mid sentence, her face drops and goes white, and she says, "Fuck, fuck, fuck, get inside now." I toss my cigarette, jump in the window. We close the blinds, and we're breathing super heavy, and I'm like, "What happened?" She says that behind me in the distance there was a big 100-foot tall tree. There was no wind. I remember this because I was watching my cigarette smoke go directly up and blowing perfect O's without them disappearing. She says the tree was still, and then suddenly the entire tree, including the trunk, moved back and forth, and then went perfectly still. And I was still like, hell no. And after a while of freaking out, sat back at the board, we put our fingers on it, and it said, "Did you see?" Ooh, I feel like I've read these before. Say, he who cannot be named. Yeah, that's a better idea. What is the red door? Redditor Huxley Pearl relates a Ouija board story that seems to be more about a family of intuitive people who live in a haunted house rather than anything else. So it's worth noting that their spooky troubles didn't begin until they horsed around with a Ouija board. Afterward, their ghostly issues included phantoms pulling on a baby's limb and a black clad ghost slave family, and the appearance of a creepy red door. What's more, the sister in this family may have summed up something very troubling. Anyway, her sister said that she was playing with the Ouija board one day, and when she asked who was speaking, she got a weird name. It struck her as odd, but she didn't really worry about it. Weeks later, she watched the special on the History Channel or something, and they were discussing demonology, and she recognized one of the names as being the strange one she encountered on the Ouija board. Okay, that's just a really big coincidence. This one says, "All boyfriends go to hell." Like, what? While stationed in Germany, a former Redditor and some fellow soldiers decided to light some candles and contact the dead. The first spirit they spoke with was a young woman who had perished while she and her boyfriend were driving home from a Grateful Dead concert, and now she was looking for him. After she went away, they actually spoke to the boyfriend, who asked if they could just tell his girlfriend that he was sorry. Then they spoke to the ghost of an older woman who said that the reason the spirit of the young woman couldn't find her boyfriend was because he was in hell. That's weird. That seems related to the other one that was in the other chunk of stories. That's really strange. This one's titled The Little Demon. While messing around with a Ouija board, excuse me, as a young man, the stepdad of a former Redditor was visited by a demon who told him that his firstborn child would perish. Understandably, the next morning the guy tried to get rid of the board first by throwing it away, then by burning it, and finally by burying it with a Bible on top of good for good measure. Years later, his wife miscarried their first child. Oh, geez. This one says Niall wants answers. While playing with the Ouija board with some friends from high school, Redditor Helvin 3 and some friends encountered a spirit named Niall, who said that he had been slain by his father. The group tried to move on from this conversation, but the spirit continued to insist that he wanted answers, even going so far as to spell out "satisfy my request." After that, the friends abandoned everything: the board, the house, the street. Truly the only way to bust a ghost. Okay, the board returns. These are just short little ones. After building a spirit board with his sister, Life in Hex Colors said the duo contacted a spirit named Roger, who perished of food poisoning and knew that the brother and his sister older sibling wanted to talk to them. Shortly after, the older sister, who was upstairs vacuuming, called for the kids to help her with the household chores. The spirit boarding duo got so freaked out that they threw their board away, only for it to return the next day. What? The haunted board. Imagine a Ouija board that was so pent up with spooky energy that it didn't even have to be used to start screwing around with your life. That's exactly what happened to Redditor Zombie Thoven, who took the board in question from a friend who said that every time she tried to use it, the same spirit continued to show up. After taking the board to its new home, things began to move around in the middle of the night. Footsteps were heard, and the cats were not happy. But really, when are cats happy? I mean, they can be if it's perfect temperature outside and the sun is shining. Yep, yep. Have a good one. We'll wrap this up in a few minutes here anyway. I'm just going to finish up. I think there's only like two more stories in here. But thanks for joining me. I'm glad that the stream went well. That means we can stream in the future. So, yay. Yes. Have a good one, man. This one says, touched by an angel. While using a Ouija board to contact the spirit of a young girl's grandmother, Redditor Oi 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 and a group of friends were contacted by the spirit of something that wore wooden clogs and had the touch of something not quite human. After being called, the spirit entered the room and touched everyone in the circle, causing them to hyperventilate. Suddenly, the girl sitting closest to the door started hyperventilating, and tears filled her eyes. We're all basically frozen in fear at this point. It's really hard to get a feeling for how fast the time went, but not long after it started, it stops and starts with a person on her left side doing the same. I don't think I really understood at that time that I was next in line. It ended with the person next to me, and I suddenly felt something touch my shoulders. It wasn't completely like a physical touch of a human, but it definitely was something that put weight on my shoulders. I, of course, froze and started hyperventilating at the shock of something unknown touching me. When this had gone halfway through the circle, it jumps straight up at the granddaughter, who starts with the same hyperventilating and then starts breaking down crying. This might be the last one here. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so this one's really short. It just says an unexplained alarm. While playing with a Ouija board late at night, Redditor Frost from Fire asked for a simple sign so they could know they were actually communicating with the spirit realm and not just absentmindedly moving the planchette around. That's when their local flood alarm sounded 3 times, even though there had been no rain in sight. This one says Ghost Wave Feminism. Redditor Twisted Missy tells a Ouija story about their grandmother who decided to pass some time with her lady friends and husband one spooky night. After reaching the spirit and asking the basics, they cut to the chase and asked how the ghost passed. The ghost said it would tell them, but not until the boy left the room. After the grandpa left, the spirit began to relate the story of its demise. But when the grandpa returned to fetch his wallet, the spirit cut its chilling tale short. No one questioned if maybe the grandpa did it. That would be my first question mark in my head there. Anyway, you are trapped. While playing with a Ouija board with his cousin Donnie in a camper outside of his house, Redditor Rob Licky kept receiving the same message again and again. The letters H and A, followed by "You are trapped." When the two cousins decided to leave the camper, they discovered that the door handle had broken off and they were trapped. Eventually, they got out of their prison, but that was the last time either of them messed with a Ouija board. This one says drunk and open-minded. On New Year's Eve 1991, while drinking like only teenagers can, Redditor Eat My Cupcake and their siblings contacted a spirit named Eugene. Again? We asked, oh, it went right back to the top of the story. Wait. Okay. That doesn't make any sense. Let's go back here. I don't know what happened there. Wow. It completely missed the stories. What happened? Wow, that's weird. Reading about seances and my iPad closed it out. Stuff like that happens to me all the time. So I don't know if anybody is still listening. Oh, hey Tenzin, I'll read something here for you since you showed up. I started doing a test stream and decided I would just read some stuff since we're on here. I have to record later for tomorrow's urban legends. I don't know if everybody's liking those. Is everybody liking those, or should I just move on to a different subject? Because I have every state mapped out for stories, which is like a lot of stories. What if people aren't liking them? I don't want to continue to do them. Let's see here. Let's go back to supernatural investigators. I found this on here too. Let's see. Okay. This is about 11 famously dubious medium, psychics, and supernatural investigators. The Fox sisters. This is where I wish I could share the screen with you because it's like a old, super old vintage picture of three sisters, black and white. The most common depiction of a medium often includes a group of people sitting around a table watching a crystal ball waiting to hear rapping sounds, indicating that someone is trying to communicate with the leader of the seance. Those rapping sounds, however, can be directly traced back to the Fox sisters, Leah, Margaret, and Kate, whose antics shaped the future of American spiritualism. As religious movements were gaining strength, the sisters discovered that they could make rapping sounds by cracking their joints, which they used to convince others that they were communicating with the dead. Eventually, Margaret and Kate confessed to their trick, though Margaret recanted her confession when she hit a period of poverty later in life. Wow. Ridiculous conspiracies. I mean, all you have to do is watch Fox News, and then you'll have like 30 of them, probably in the first half an hour. Someone's starting a petition to get Fox News taken off the air because of their irresponsibility with their reporting. It's become dangerous. It's like a legal thing. They've crossed like a legal line um, that should permit them to be excluded from being allowed to air, I guess. I don't know. Well, I've got all kinds of stuff I can add to it. I would like to add serial killers back to Saturday. And I see lots of people do horrible true crime. And that's what people ask for all the time. So maybe I can add serial killers back to the list on Saturdays and put urban legends on Wednesdays. Let's see. People don't watch a lot of my Wednesday videos, so doing 2 videos a week, um, not sure if it's worth it if people don't watch them. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You really have to, especially when it's nicer outside. When it's snowing and you can't go anywhere, it's super easy to do that. You have a lot of time on your hands. But when it's nice outside, I don't want to sit inside. I don't want to sit inside and do that. I don't. I do a serial killer Saturday. That's the only video I can do because it's going to take a little bit each day to do that. So, oh, these are kind of good because it says Miss Cleo. Do you guys remember Miss Cleo? She had those um, commercials on for a long time. I think they were on late at night, but I remember seeing them in the middle of the day too. So her high cost deceptions were discovered by the FBI. That's weird. I mean, why would the FBI care? So Miss Cleo was once a mainstay of late night infomercial circuit. Okay, late night. Promising that she'd reveal the future to callers using tarot cards. Listen, there's lots of people that do that, so why would they focus in on her? Let's find out. In actuality, Miss Cleo was Yuri Del Harris, a woman from Los Angeles who joined the Psychic Readers Network in the late 90s. The network was later fined for fraudulent claims and billing deception. Okay. And ultimately revealed to not even be filmed live. They were delivered from a script. Though Harris herself was not included, she was the face of the company with serious lapses in ethics, making her one of the most visible fake psychics in history. Okay, I was wondering why they were focusing on her. Horrible true crime. Is there uplifting true crime? I mean, I would think that stealing food from your family would be uplifting. Stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, definitely uplifting. And I think we're going to see some stories like that real soon. There's a very large gap between everyday people and the insanely wealthy who are completely out of touch with the rest of society. That can only last for so long if you go throughout history every single time. I was talking to my husband about history. Um, like they say, you need to learn history so you don't repeat it. It's like falling down a flight of stairs. Okay, maybe there was like the step at the top had like a little lead nudge or something and your shoe caught on it. So the next time you go downstairs, you watch out for it. And that is a clear example of why you want to know everything about history so you can avoid falling down the fucking stairs. And I swear there's always somebody in charge and power. I'm squirreling out, so sorry. There's always somebody in power who forgot to look at the flight of stairs they were going down and instead just blindly went down them. They went down just fine and didn't fall, but they have lots of people behind them that don't know about the little lip on the stair and they're going to fall because the person in front of them who knew about the little ledge on the stair didn't tell them. So learning about all of our history is super duper important. And I don't even know why I went on that. Hey, Nelson, hello. Coffee's still hitting my brain, so I'm gonna squirrel out a lot. I'm wrapping this up here. I just wanted to do a test stream to see how it was gonna work, and so far so good. But my true squirreling out comes when the caffeine hits my brain first thing in the morning, or when I'm going to bed. Mainly it's in the morning when no one else is around, and I'm usually talking to myself. So welcome to the Squirrel Show. Sorry if you can hear me swallowing. I'm using my earbuds to talk into the computer, and it seems to pick up a lot more than my headset that I usually use for streaming. Let's see. Sylvia Browne's false predictions leave parents grieving. Yeah, there were times when I watched Sylvia Browne, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, who thought that's awfully brazen. It's one thing to be a psychic who's entertaining, and you're like making predictions about things. But I think that's very dangerous to play with people during emotions like that. So it said Sylvia Browne was one of the best known psychic television personalities, especially for her work with police in finding missing people. Unfortunately, most of her predictions were revealed to be completely wrong on more than one occasion. Brown had said that missing people were dead when they were later found alive. In one particular case, she told the mother of a missing girl, Amanda Berry, that her daughter was dead. The mother died 2 years later, 7 years before her daughter was found alive. In fact, according to the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry, the cases with conclusive endings, none of Brown's predictions were actually correct. On the contrary, a lot of people have read her. She she's made a lot of books similar and like in the same category as Nostradamus, and they went back through and saw that. So I don't know, did she go through Nostradamus's predictions and then make her alterations for that? I don't know. I don't know. She also wrote a book about, and I cannot remember what it's called, but basically it talks about before you come here, um, like what it's like on the other side, and the fact that we're only here for like a blink of an eye, and in realm of all eternity, we're only here for a little while, and that when we come here, we choose our life exactly, and that we choose our parents, and it's really heartbreaking for people who had not so great childhood. So I don't know if you get a chance to read that, just brace yourself because it can be really cool and comforting if you get really wrapped up in the details of it. And then like the way she tells it, I don't know. There's some people that just should like. Does it help people? Does it help people to know that, or does it not? I don't know. This one says Uri Gely's spoon bending exposed on late night TV. Uri Gely is one of the most famous, or maybe infamous, psychics, best known for his apparent spoon bending ability. However, during a 1973 appearance on The Tonight Show, the host coerced Geller into using objects he selected rather than Geller's usual equipment. After spending some time contemplating the objects, he claimed that he wasn't feeling strong enough to perform his feat and called it off. Carson, the host that evening, was familiar with stage magic and set the situation up to prevent Geller from using sleight of hand or other trickery. When Geller declined to perform without his own spoons and other objects, it was pretty clear that he wasn't in control. Geller's powers seemed to be mysteriously vanished. Yeah, that is weird. Um, Mina Crandon exposed by famed magician Harry Houdini. Who's Mina Crandon? I've never heard of her. Let me know if you've heard of her. Let's see. Harry Houdini, the famed American magician, began his investigation into the supernatural shortly after the death of his mother in the 1920s. Consumed with grief, he attended numerous seances in an attempt to contact his mother. However, with each one he attended, he quickly discovered the tricks and sleight of hand being used by the self proclaimed mediums. From that point on, Houdini made it one of his life's goals to discredit and debunk exploitive mediums. Then in 1923, he encountered Mina Crandon, who was being considered the Scientific American magazine to be a true medium. To test her skills, Houdini developed a fraud-proof cabinet for her to perform with, and promptly discredited her when she failed. Was it Houdini someone who just did sleight of hand too? That's confusing to me. Tyler Henry recounts Wikipedia to celebrities. So, oh, this one's a rather young one. I'm surprised. So, I don't know if you've ever seen him, but he looks kind of like similar to Dennis the Menace grown up. He's really young. I think he might be just now 20. He was on TLC a lot. He's called Hollywood Medium, and his name is Tyler. He gets by with his youthful good looks and odd habit of scribbling on paper to focus his psychic energy, but his modern day medium is merely a skillful cold reader and, most importantly, a Google fanatic. Though Henry claims to know nothing about the celebrities whose deceased loved ones call upon him, almost every fact he reveals on the show can be easily searched for, and if it isn't easily searched, the celebrities in question often don't know what he's talking about. We have only Henry's word to go on that he doesn't use Google and that his predictions always involving celebrities are under significantly more public scrutiny than the average person, and it's hard to believe that he's the real deal. Okay, so first of all, this guy that I'm talking about, um, he did. I cannot stand the Kardashians, first of all. Especially, I don't know if you saw Kim say, "Get your fucking ass up and work." A woman who was born rich, who has people cater to her every fucking need, told people to get off their ass and work. They shouldn't have a show anymore. If you watch them, please don't watch my channel. I don't support them or anyone who is wealthy that tells people to get up and work when they're just doing nothing but harming society. Anyways, when Khloe Kardashian was pregnant with that guy that cheated on her multiple times, she did a session with Tyler Henry. And Tyler Henry predicted that it was going to go bad. Well, first of all, I don't know that you should really be doing that to someone, giving them information. Like she still stayed with him anyways, and she stayed with him long after. Hey, Laura. Um, but good morning. Coffee's still hitting me, so when something upsets me, I'm gonna rant off on it. And the Kardashians upset me every single time I think about them. I hate when I go to Google and I see them in news stories. Anything in their life isn't news. There's literally people dying still in Afghanistan, by the way, and Ukraine. I don't want to see their stupid rich faces. They could donate all of their money to the cause. They could donate their money and help end hunger. They could stop things from happening that are bad, but they use none of their power or money for anything good but their own selfish wants and needs. So the next time I see, I swear to God, they make me so mad. I want to start a petition to get them off of Hulu. Anyways, I don't know that Tyler Henry should have said that to Chloe during a psychic reading because I don't know, does it help someone? If they say a warning like, maybe you shouldn't go on the trip to Florida in 5 months or something like that. If that's that person's time to go, should a psychic say that to someone? They can warn them, but I feel like Final Destination, if it's your time, you're going to die whether you go on that trip to Florida or whether you stay home. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. Not to sugarcoat anything, but I don't know if that is your place to tell them. I think it's your place to help them. You can guide them. But the same thing is like we all have free will, and so does everyone you interact with on a daily basis. So if let's say you go to a psychic or even a tarot card reader, all they can do is give insight to the moment at hand. And the second that you walk out the door, them just giving you the insight or information can change the outcome of what they just predicted because your free will can dictate for you to change that. Anyways, the next one says Lorraine and Ed Warren continue to be hailed as paranormal investigators despite fraudulence. So the cases surrounding Ed and Lorraine Warren, arguably the most famous paranormal investigators, have inspired films like The Conjuring, Annabelle, and the entirety of the Amityville haunting story, but they're also incredibly flimsy. Apply the principle of Occam's razor to any of their numerous cases, and it becomes obvious that they are far more plausible explanations for the events than the presence of demons or hosts. Even if the Warrens do have some truly supernatural cases under their belt, there's still a whole lot about these stories that don't add up. It's far more likely that in the process of dealing with some truly unexplainable events, they discovered that there was profit and fame to be had, leading to a well-crafted image of being real-life Ghostbusters. I don't know. I don't think you can get it right every time, and that's why there are people that still investigate these things because there's no way to get it right every time. And I think that unless someone's holding up a cue card from the other side, you kind of have to guess at some of it. But this next one says Long Island medium Teresa Caputo deceptively dazzles crowds. See, I've seen her do stuff, and I don't know how you could be deceptive about someone picking them out of a crowd about their loved ones. So I guess this one will say. She gained fame as a medium for her down home, earnest persona. Listening to her speak, you really get the impression that she cares about you and your grief. But that carefully cultivated image, and one that suits her quite well, as she uses cold reading and vague statements to make her clients feel like she really is receiving messages from deceased loved ones. Like many television mediums, Caputo relies on spectacle and intentionally vague statements to convince people that she's actually conversing with their relatives. The combination of her personality and her ability to cold read is what makes her such a captivating figure. She clearly has a talent for reading people, though the purpose she puts it to is worthy of some side eye. So they didn't really, okay, just because you don't like her doesn't mean you can't discount what she does. Um, I think that if you compare her to like Sylvia Brown, I don't know if you ever like watched when I was a little kid. I remember her being on Montel, and do you remember that show, Montel Williams? I remember Sylvia Brown being on Montel Williams, and I would see her, and it just seemed to me, and you can probably have your own opinion about this, but it seemed to me that she radiated negative energy, if that makes sense. It just seemed like I did never get a good vibe. It definitely feels like a completely, so when she's like in her regular self, she really just seemed like a New Jersey mom. But when she's reading people, you know, it seems like it's like a different personality almost. I was a little kid once. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I think that nobody's going to get it right until you're actually on the other side. People can be close. I think that there are people that are definitely gifted with seeing things into things. But again, every single being has free will. And so the second that you are introduced to insight or knowledge about something, you then have the free will to alter it. And just saying going left instead of right can completely alter everything that person just saw or did. So who knows? Anyway, James Van Prague is either a good medium nor a cold reader. Neither. He's neither. Okay, so another medium who claims to be able to connect with their lost loved ones, and a frequent subject of examination for skeptics. The Committee for Skeptical Inquiry visited Von Prague's show in 2003, revealing not only that the medium was not psychic, but that he wasn't particularly good at cold reading either. His heavily edited show makes it seem as though he has a lot of hits with his psychic reading ability, but the investigation revealed that he actually spends far more time floundering than he does telling people what they want to hear. Wow. I don't even know who that is. Does that sound familiar? She predicted O.J. Simpson. Who did? Sylvia Browne? I don't think it was hard to. I mean, he was already in trouble a lot of times for being violent with his ex-wife. And that's why people make a big deal about when someone's threatening or stalking their ex-wife or ex-partners. That's why it's so dangerous. I still don't know why. Again, it comes right back to the Kardashians because their father, that's how they all gained fame besides Kim's sex tape, was because their father was O.J. Simpson's lawyer. So it's all connected here. So right now you've seen probably multiple stories about her soon-to-be ex-husband, Kanye West. Who cares? I don't give a crap about these people. However, when you are in the public light and your husband is constantly depicting images of chopping off the head of the man you're seeing and making public videos about it, he got banned from Instagram. Trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. When you have money and power and you have the opportunity to have the best lawyers on the planet and change laws that would save women's lives, and she does nothing, it is either all for publicity or I don't even care. They can take their money and ride off into the sunset because we don't need anybody that is in the public light that has an opportunity to change laws to save. I'm sure there's men's lives that would be changed by this too. How many people needed a restraining order, went to the judge, got denied because there wasn't enough evidence for them to seem like a threat? They were discarded and then later killed. And even people that did get a restraining order, murdered by their ex because they just weren't taken seriously. It didn't seem like a big enough threat. Yes. So when you're a public person who has an opportunity to change things for people, you've got money and power and you do nothing good for others with it because you've got a responsibility to others. When you're pushed into, that's why people get so mad at people when they're suddenly in the limelight and they're acting like fools, which they don't owe us anything. They're still humans. However, when you're in a position of power and then you tell women to get off your ass and fucking work, and then you have an opportunity to get off your ass and change laws for people that would literally save lives, and you do nothing with that, I have no respect for that. Why did it say live? 4 minutes and 44 seconds. Are we an hour and 4 minutes in? I'm so confused. Damn, Duchess, you're sharp. No, most people, it's very common knowledge that her father was OJ's lawyer. I don't know. Sometimes sometimes I wish I didn't know things. Not saying I'm the smartest person alive, because if I were, I probably would have I don't know. Anyway, it just made me super mad. It's like people that are constantly like going off on the mouth about something when you're standing there and you're piles of money, and then you're criticizing people that don't have piles of money when you have piles of money to change people's lives. Like literally, this not only that, but she has been in trouble countless times for not paying the people that clean her house. Gross. Disgraceful. Nobody should follow those people. They're just an embarrassment to human people. Derek Akora's fake possessions revealed on Most Haunted. So, has anybody seen? It's like a UK paranormal show called Most Haunted. And let's see, most fans of the ghost hunting shows know that there's at least some trickery at work, but the Most Haunted show took it to a whole new level. Investigators fed Derek Akora, a medium on the show, the fake name Creed Kafer, an anagram for Derek Faker, and Akora claims to be possessed by the spirit. Akora then claimed that he'd spoken to another fictitious spirit, worked in some false history based on the intentionally bad information he received, and communicated with spirits from an asylum while actually just being in an average home. Though he had been caught lying on television repeatedly, Akora continues to claim that he is a genuine medium. Wow. This last one, it's got like a picture of this lady who was on Oprah. So Rosemary Altia's connection with spirits driven by cold and hot reading. I've never heard of her. You guys let me know if you've heard of her. Rosemary Altia. I don't even know if I'm saying her last name right, which I probably not. Like many television mediums, makes her living by contacting the dead for bereaved families. But unlike most television mediums, she was exposed on Penn and Teller's BS, where tapes and interviews revealed that she wasn't even cold reading the audience. She'd asked the audience questions beforehand or had been fed information by her literary agent. Knowing this, her conversations with grief stricken parents and family members felt pretty gross. One reader believes that Altia is not intentionally deceiving people, but rather that she learned how to read people by accident and merely uses the skill for personal gain. And I think that's one of the rules. Like if you there's like rules for psychics and mediums, and one of them is you cannot use your gift for personal gain, or like if you have tarot cards, you're not supposed to read cards for yourself. That's one of the rules. Even though I see readers do that all the time, read for themselves, but I don't know. I've never seen a book written for it. I think it's mainly because people do it for, again, their own personal gain, but I don't know. I'm gonna cut this I'm gonna cut this off now because this was just supposed to be a test stream at 8 o'clock in the morning. Um and it turned good. So this means that we can have live streams again, which I know some people really like to have. Um so I don't know. If I could figure out a way to share the screen, I could do the urban legends or other things during a live stream, which I think would be more fun. But you guys need to let me know if that's something that you would want. Um, it's more fun for me to have them because that means that I don't have to like record, edit edit the audio, and then make the video, edit the video, make sure it's correct. And sometimes you have to do it a couple times because the editing software is a pain in the butt, even in the best of circumstances. If you click on the wrong thing, you can alter all the images, screw it up. I don't know. Anyways, if I can figure out how to share the screen so I can show images of what I'm talking about while we're talking about it, that would be that would be perfect. That would be the best, actually. Let's see. I don't know if I can or not. Maybe I should try it while I'm on here with you. Let's see. Let me just randomly go to Google while you're on here. I don't know how to open. Oh, whoops. I don't know where you guys went. It won't let me open Google Chrome. Anyways, oh, maybe I can find another way. I like to have all other media sources on here. Hold on a minute. It opened for me now. If you're still here, I'm just trying to see if I can share images with you guys while on the stream. So I'm just going to see if I can add an image. Okay, let's see if I can add an image while we're on here. Let's see, add image slideshow. Let's just do one. Let's just add one image just to see if it works. Image one. I'll just do that. See if I can find a picture. I have a whole bunch of stuff saved on my computer anyway. So let's just see if I can. Let's see the kind of file. You save pictures. I'll actually go to no name. Here, let's do, let me see if this shows up here. If I can do this, I'm going to be so happy. I'm just going to put up this Reddit image that I have saved. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. I didn't see it pop up. So I don't know if it's like behind here. Oh, it's in the corner up there because it's so small. Let me try another one. If anybody's still here, I'm just seeing if I can share things like images during a live stream. It would be way easier to just share the screen, but I don't even see that as an option. Hold on a second. Add source. Let me find another new. I added a little thing to the screen and I didn't mean to do that. It was too small, that's why. Let's see here. Saved pictures. And then it went away. I don't know what happened. Oh, open. Let me see. And then nothing's there. Okay. Hold on. If you're joining me, we're just messing around here to see if I can find that. There we go. Okay. I can never figure out how to go on. I'm using a different kind of computer, and sometimes it's not as easy to find. Okay, let's just go to Google and see if they'll let me save a new picture here. What are you guys up to this morning? Who's on their way to work? Is anybody in their car listening to this? I'm just curious. I'll go to Google. See if I can find just an image. Just to add to it. Nope, it went to something else instead. Not sure why it did that. Oh my goodness. Pop them in the chat. Trying to see if I can just go to here. I was just trying to get any kind of image off of here and see if I could share it with the screen, because if I could do that, it would make it so much easier to do some live stream, but relevant to the topic, and then I could actually share images with you while we're talking about them. Let's look up scary face and see if it works. All right, images, scary face. Am I surprised at what? Oh, that's a good one. All right, well, let's just do this one that's not. Okay. I'm still learning how to use this computer. It doesn't do everything the same as my other computer did. It's just different. Wait, what's this? You can't exactly just like right click on things like the other thing you could. No. I swear I can hear people come and go. I saw Hood Horror share his screen. Yeah, I don't know how to figure that out yet, which is what we're doing right now. Let me see. I'm just gonna grab some random. I'm trying to grab just a random image, but because I don't know what I'm doing with this computer yet, it's being fickle with me. So if I do this, how do I say this? Like it's not, oh my gosh. I have some saved on my flash drive, but I cannot figure out how to upload because when I go to the flash drive, it's not working with me. Oh, you're at home after surgery? Oh no. Yeah, I have to research how to do it, but I have some other stuff I have to do today, so if I get to it, I do. I'm just glad that we can now live stream. Oh, this says skipped frames. So now that it's like past 9 o'clock, the internet immediately is acting weird. So have you guys noticed it buffering at all? Because I have two alerts saying that it did. 2 minutes ago and 4 minutes ago. Skipped frames. You guys have to let me know. So apparently early morning is a good time. Darkness Radio has splits and guests. Yeah. I know that if I put my face on there, it's easier to share the screen, which I really don't want to do that. I do not want to go through intense, stressful, what do I look like on the camera? That is really going to detract from my enjoyment of being on here. That's for sure. I don't want to have to worry about that. I don't want to worry about that. That brings me no joy at all, trying to think about if I look all right on the camera. No, thank you. Ew. No one wants to see that. Oh, look, and it says another red thing. All right, so early morning or late at night streams, just a heads up, because it seems to be that's when the internet is less fickle. So I am going to wrap this up here, though, because it's just supposed to be a test. Other than that, Nevada is up for tomorrow's Urban Legends. And I will try to live stream tomorrow night after the video, but I don't know how it's going to go. So if you see it pop up, may go well, may not. I don't know. This is going to be a successful one so far. Just had a few things I noticed that it is after 9 a.m., so that's probably why. But anyways, thank you for joining me. I'm going to wrap this up now, and I hope you guys have a good day. I hope that you like tomorrow's video. And yeah, boycott the Kardashians. Anyway, you guys have a good Friday, and Nevada is up for tomorrow, so hopefully you guys find it interesting.